I'm on my way to see a chocolatier here in Accra. Business people are very time conscious. I hope we get there on time. We just arrived and it's good to be here. Join us after the break. We're going to look at all aspects of the chocolate industry. So what's the difference between handmade chocolate and the larger corporate chocolate makers?
So when it comes to handmade chocolate making, it's basically using less machines. So it's just like equipment or utensils you have in the house, basic tools that you use. So it's not like you require a huge investment before you can do handmade chocolate making. You can just do it at home, or you can also be gone into something that can be made in this room.
Okay, let's see how the chocolate is processed. So, talk us through the raw materials.
Okay, so the chocolates, the main raw materials for chocolate are the cocoa beans. So these are the cocoa beans, and then you process the cocoa beans to get the various divisions of it. So first of all, you need to roast the cocoa beans. You roast them, and then the shells come off the main flesh itself. So this is the flesh that you get out of the roasted beans. So it's called cocoa nibs. These are cocoa nibs. People chew them raw. It's very bitter, but very healthy too. So people chew them just as it is, and then from here you grind the cocoa nibs, and then you get a paste-like substance, which is solidified into this. So it's just solidified into this, which is called cocoa leco or cocoa mass.
So you grind the cocoa nibs, and then it becomes this.
It becomes this.
It becomes that first.
Yes.
Ah,
so
okay.
it's separated into the cocoa butter and then the cocoa leco. So this is what you get, and then to get the powder, you just break this the cocoa leco, and then you get the powder from it. So what we do is, to cut the process short, we often buy this directly from the process companies, and then it cuts the time short for us to process our chocolates. So sometimes that's what we do, to cut time short. So the main ingredients for making the chocolate this time around will be this cocoa leco, the cocoa butter. You add your sugar, and then you add milk powder. That's if you are making milk chocolate. So these are just the major raw materials for the chocolate making. So when you measure your raw materials according to your recipe, you put it into the next stage, which is the conching process. So we'll move into the conching process stage.
So this is the machine that mixes the raw materials to make the chocolate?
Yes, so it's called the conching machine. So it conches the raw materials, and then you get your chocolate ready. So I'll turn it on. So the machine runs for a maximum 72 hours. And when it's ready, the chocolate comes out very smooth. And the bitterness is also included. All the raw materials come in here. And then when it's ready, when the 72 hours is up, and it moves into the tempering machine. So this is a tempering machine, and so it's from here. It goes in here hot. So the machine is supposed to cool it down to a certain temperature before you start molding it. So this is what happens. It runs just about an hour, and then it brings the temperature down. Mold it into different shapes. When it gets to the temperature that we want, we fill our molds, and then we put it in the fridge to get our solid chocolate. So that's what happens.
At what point did you add the filling? So for the plantain chip chocolate?
Okay, so with the plantain chips, we put the plantain chips inside the mold first, and then we pour the chocolate on them before we scrape it. Sometimes we just collect the chocolate first, and then we can just mix the plantain chips with it, and then we can just take it out into the box. So depending on how we want it, we can just do it that way.
Either way.
Yeah. Working with chocolate can be a bit messy. So have to. And you know, sometimes there are air bubbles in the chocolate, so we want to do that, and then by hitting, sometimes it's on a table.
Yeah.
But this machine has a vibrator, so you just turn it on.
Oh, right. Oh, I can see the bubbles coming out.
Put this in the fridge, and when it's ready, you take it out. And you can do the second one. And then you can try it out.
Very messy. Whoa. Okay. Am I doing the other way, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm bound to get it on my gloves.
That's how it works.
Is it full enough? Or
Yeah.
is that full enough? Is that fine?
When it's vibrating, so just feel it.
Oh, okay, sorry. Whoa. It looks easy, but it's really not you. Oh, you want to see the bubbles come out? This is how you make chocolate using the bowls. Homemade. Oh, 10 minutes, that's very quick.
So in 10 minutes, it should be ready. Okay, so with the plantain chips, as I said, we put the plantain chips in the mold, and then we fill it with the chocolate. Or other way, we can also mix it with the chocolate and then fill the molds with them. So we wrap them. When it's ready, we wrap them, and this is how it comes out. So you can see the plantain chips in it.
Lovely.
Yeah. And then with the outside, the outer part of it, you hardly see the plantain there.
Yes.
It's because we vibrate it well, so you can hardly see it. But when you open it first, you can see the plantain chips in it. Yes. And then when you taste it too, you realize that it's very good.
So are we going to try some?
Yes, definitely. You can try.
The plantains remain crunchy.
Yes. Because there's no water and then there's no air kind of reaction with the plantain chips, it remains crispy for, it can stay for about 6 months and still, it will still be crispy.
Emmanuel, how is white chocolate made?
Okay, so with white chocolate, this is the cocoa butter, and then this is what is the main ingredient for white chocolate. You know, the cocoa mass gives the brownish color to milk chocolate and then dark chocolate. So to get white chocolate, you don't add cocoa mass to it. It's just the cocoa butter, the milk powder, and then your sugar, and that's what gives you the white chocolate. So just these 3 ingredients.
But this doesn't really have much taste, does it?
It doesn't. So it's the milk and then the sugar that gives it the taste.
Yes.
And then a bit of the cocoa scent in the cocoa butter that gives you the rich kind of cocoa taste.
So ironically, white chocolate should really be called milk chocolate.
Well, yes,
What quality control process does the chocolate have to go through before it's packaged?
Okay, so with chocolates, it's mainly temperature. Temperature is what drives the quality of the chocolate. So with our processes, first of all, we look at the raw materials. We need to inspect the raw materials and ensure that they are of good quality in terms of the package, it's being sealed properly, and there are no physical hazards in the chocolate in terms of maybe tiny rubber particles, stones and stuff like that. And so we ensure they are of good quality before we put them in the punching machine. So it comes out in a better shape than expected. So from there, we move to the tempering machine. The tempering machine, there's a temperature setting that needs to be made, which is averagely 31 degrees Celsius. So you need to get that temperature before you can mold your chocolate. If you don't get the temperature right, your chocolate at the end product of the chocolate will start melting. Yes, and also you realize that on the market you find chocolates with whitish substances on them.
Yes.
So some of them are with respect to the tempering. If the tempering is not right, you take the chocolate out and then you realize that there are marks on the chocolate. And also people handle the chocolate poorly. They change the temperature so drastically. They take the chocolate from, let's say, a cold environment, take it into a warm environment, and then bring it back to the cold environment. So when you do those temperature changes, you realize that your chocolate starts looking whitish. Even though it's not spoiled, but it's just that the appearance is more unpleasant to the eye when you see it.
It does have a certain taste to it.
And with the taste, sometimes there's something called sugar bloom. And with the sugar bloom, the sugar in the chocolate gets into, let's say, water particles that have come into contact with the chocolate. So you realize that the sugar comes to the surface of the chocolate after the water has evaporated. And then when you eat it, you tend to taste more of the sugar first than even the chocolate. So it sometimes changes the taste of the chocolate, but in natural fact it's not spoiled. Chocolate hardly gets spoiled unless it comes into contact with water. And then with that one, in a short period, it will get spoiled easily.
Thank you, Emmanuel, for showing us how chocolate is made from the bean to the finished chocolate bar. Thanks for watching, and I'm Sue.